What's going on, guys? So today's video is gonna be story time because I read something yesterday and it kind of pissed me off, but at the same time gave me a little speck of hope for this world we live in. And this has to do with something I talk about a lot on this channel, and that is the importance of inclusion in basically everything in the world. But of course on this channel we talk more about movies, you know, comic books, video games, stuff like that. Basically a lot of pop culture stuff. And I'm always constantly talking about how it's important to include, you know, main characters and stuff like that that are, you know, people of color or, you know, characters from the people from the LGBTQ community. And I read this story and I was like, oh my god, this is like the perfect story to tell people that goes along with everything that I've been talking about on this channel, because I know there's a lot of people out there that don't really give a shit about this, and I know that for a fact because I was like that 10 years ago. I didn't give a fuck about this kind of stuff. I didn't really care. I was like, oh my god, this person's just being PC, and oh my god, social justice warrior. Although 10 years ago, social justice warrior wasn't a phrase. So I know there's probably some people out there that think that people that talk about this, they're like, oh, they're just pushing an agenda, and it's not even important. Trust me, 10 years from now, if you're younger, you're gonna think about this and you're gonna be like, oh shit, oh man, totally, I was stupid. Unless you just are still not gonna care about this from 10 years, but then that's kind of like, you didn't even grow that much, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, we can talk about your 10-year self later, but what I want to talk about is this story because I read this yesterday. If you follow me on Twitter, you might have already read this yourself, but I read this story and it blew my mind because I was like, this is exactly what I talk about, and this is why it is important to include all types of characters in TV shows, comic books, and everything. So what we're gonna I'm gonna go ahead and read you this story because it was in a series of tweets from a person. And I also gonna let you know that this has to do with Supergirl Season 2. So if you haven't seen Supergirl Season 2, there's more than likely gonna be some spoilers in here because that's what this story revolves around. And I just wanna go ahead and let you know that now before you're like, oh man, this is a cool freaking message, but thanks for the spoilers, bro. Before I start, these tweets come from a person named Ned Ray. I think that's how you say her first name. You guys know me, terrible with names. I am going to call her Ray in this video for the sake of butchering her name a million times. So all of these tweets are on her Twitter profile. She put them out there. You can go read them for yourself. Like I said, if you follow me on Twitter, I tagged it and said like why this was such an important thread. So you can read it for yourself if you want to, but like I said, they will be in this video for you. And I'm gonna give my commentary as I talk about them or as I read them to you. So bear with me, I'm gonna read all these tweets. Let's do this. So yesterday on my flight to Vancouver, I was watching Supergirl, more specifically the episode where Alex comes out to Kara. I had my headphones on, but I was watching it with subtitles, which I do a lot because it's hard for me to understand spoken English sometimes. After Kara tells Alex to go get the girl, I feel a tap on my shoulder. I pause, the guy next to me is trying to get my attention. Guy tells me I'm being inconsiderate and disrespectful because there are kids on that flight. I shouldn't expose them to the gay abomination. Two things real quick. Number one, asshole. Number two, if somebody has their headphones in, leave them the fuck alone. Unless it's an emergency or they drop something or you just really need to tell them something very, very important, don't fuck with somebody that has headphones in their ears. That's why they have them. They want to get away from the world, especially on a flight. Let's continue. I point out that the audio is off, but even so, there's nothing wrong with kids being exposed to queer characters, queer heroes on TV. He says it's wrong. I tell him that many kids are already queer and that I'm sure they are happy to see their sexuality represented in TV. He gets upset, calls me one of them disgusting dykes and a effing N-word, is what I'm gonna assume those blanked out words are. Then tells the flight attendant he must switch seats ASAP. Okay, it's shit like this that pisses me off because like, I don't see how people find it okay in their brain. Like, okay, you're saying that you're being inappropriate and inconsiderate to people for watching a show that has a gay character, yet you can go ahead and flat out call somebody a dyke and the N-word, I should say a fucking N-word, and that's totally okay. That's not inappropriate, that's not inconsiderate, but you watching a show with your headphones in and subtitles on, that's just way over the line. Like, fuck you, dude. Back to the tweets. I usually don't let those things get to me, but I was already emotional for leaving my home and my family behind, so I got visibly upset. She asked me what's wrong. I tell her the guy is attacking me with racial slurs and homophobic comments. The woman behind me backs me up. Okay, woman that backed her up, thank you for that. I hate when people just sit there and say nothing when shit like this goes on. The guy outright tells FA, flight attendant, that he absolutely can't stand sitting next to someone as filthy as me. Of course, I'm assuming that's what OFC stands for. I'm livid, so are those around me. FA says she'll solve the problem and leaves, then she comes back and tells me I've been upgraded to first class free of charge. Badass, flight attendant! Guy is outraged. FA claps back, you wanted her gone, so she is. Stop disrupting the flight or you'll have the police waiting for you upon landing. I get to first class, I'm still livid, so I take my laptop out and I keep watching Supergirl because I can. I love the show and fuck homophobia. After Alex and Maggie kiss, I notice the woman next to me is staring at my screen, so I brace to have yet another argument. Thankfully, I'm wrong. Right there, that totally sucks that she has to brace for another argument because she feels the world is just so filled with people like that, and it kind of is, that are just gonna judge you for watching a fucking show with a gay person in it. Like, it's complete and utter bullshit. And that's why, like, people get, you know, people of color, people of the LGBT community just get so pissed off when other people are like, why are you making a fucking big deal about it? Because the world makes a big deal about us doing shit. She's just watching a fucking show, but she's feeling like she's gonna get into another argument about a show she's watching. That is a terrible feeling, guys, and if you felt it, you totally know, and if you haven't felt it, it blows donkey dick. She asks if I like Supergirl. I tell her it's one of my favorite shows. She tells me her daughter loves it and actually got her to watch it. She asks if I'm alright. I tell her no. I'm still angry. Then I tell her what happened. Once I'm done, she tells me Supergirl helped her. Cause her BFF of 35 years came out to her as a lesbian and at first she wouldn't accept it. It went against her beliefs. It was wrong. But watching Alex Danvers' journey with her daughter, quote, who mind you, I'm sure she's a little bit gay, end quotes, helped her understand her best friend. She told me she saw her best friend's struggle reflected in Alex, that Alex showed her to understand what her friend was going through. And basically, thanks to Supergirl, she got past her own prejudice and wrongful belief, and now their friendship is stronger than ever. She also told me that she joined a group for parents of LGBTQ kids because she wants to be ready and supportive when her daughter comes out to her. It was a happy coincidence that I got to meet such a kind and understanding human being after experiencing a very uncomfortable situation. I'm happy to know that shows like Supergirl are out there helping people more compassionate and better informed about the LGBT community. I'm thankful for Alex's journey, for Maggie's kindness, and for the positive impact for how great Name and Name both are. Those are the freaking @ Twitter accounts for the actors that play Maggie and Alex. Mostly I'm thankful for Name and Supergirl staff for telling such a compelling and extraordinary heartfelt coming out story in Supergirl. Stories like the one I got to hear is why fair representation matters. It's why LGBT fans deserve better. It's why I want to be a TV writer. I am okay, I have a strong support system, and the best family and friends I could ask for. I'm lucky I can shake off a bad encounter. But I know of many that aren't supported, that don't have my privilege, so I promise I'll fight for you, for me, for whoever needs it. I'll never stop standing up for myself, for others in need, and for what I believe is right. This thread ended up being longer than I expected, but I'm not sorry. I needed to get it off my chest. He also tweeted one more thing mentioning that the airline was Delta. Thank you, Delta. You kind of pissed me off recently, but then I found out that a prankster was just kind of making you guys look bad, and I said I wasn't gonna fly you guys. But you fixed this situation, so you're kind of getting better on my other side, you know? So you're kind of cool, Delta. Okay, so that is the end of the story and all the tweets. Like I said, there's something else that happened to her that I want to talk about, but first, let's talk about everything that happened in this story. We had the villain, which was the super dickhead that opened his mouth when it was not necessary at all. He just had to voice his opinion about how he was right and another person was wrong because his beliefs are the only one that matters. We had our protagonist that was just minding her fucking business and watching a show because she was on a flight. What else do you do on a flight? We had somebody come to the rescue of our protagonist in the flight attendant, and then we meet the character that gives us that glimmer of hope that the world isn't filled with pieces of shit. And boom, we got a good story. In all seriousness, guys, did you get the main point of that story? Somebody watched a comic book show with a character that is gay. The way that person came out helped them understand a real life person that is in their life. It made them understand the struggles they are going through, and it made their relationship stronger. It made them rethink their beliefs and realize that not everything has to follow a book and that not everybody is bad because they don't believe the same things you believe. We can be different. What? This is why inclusion is important. And this woman, now that she saw Supergirl, is now super supportive of her friend of 35 years. Could you imagine losing a friend, your best friend of 35 years, because they came out as gay or they didn't agree with beliefs that you have? That is bullshit. And I have lost friends of 10 and 13 years, and it sucks dick. Although one of them is a complete asshole, and I don't want to be that person's friend anymore, but still, you know what I mean. Supergirl just saved a friendship of 35 years, guys. That's freaking amazing because they had an LGBT character. And this mom is now going to a group of other moms that have to support their LGBT kids because, you know, she feels that her daughter's gonna come out as gay, but now she wants to be supportive. That is a good fucking mother right there. And a good freaking friend for putting her differences aside, putting her beliefs aside, and being there for her friend and understanding her friend. And it's all because of a fucking show that had an LGBTQ character. That is why freaking inclusion is important, guys. That is proof right there. Like, if you can't see that, you don't want to. You don't want to. If you cannot see why it's important, if you still think it's PC, or if you still think that people are being social justice warriors, you don't want to see it. You want to stay closed-minded, and you want everybody to believe what you believe. And that sucks, because you're not going to grow as a person if that's all you do. If you think you are always right, and you can never admit to being wrong, you're not going to grow as a person, and that's going to suck. I admit that I'm wrong all the freaking time. My main thing is we have a true story right here of how a superhero show just saved a relationship. It also showed us how shitty people can be in this world because they think they're right. But we just had Supergirl, and that episode and that season, like, the one thing about Supergirl is it brings the feels. Like, even on season 1, a lot of people had a problem with season 1. They have really good actors on Supergirl, and they bring the feels. Like, you're just like watching that episode, I was like, damn, like, it was really heartfelt for me, because I have friends that are part of the LGBTQ community, and I know some of them have struggled. You know, some of them, their parents didn't agree with it, or whatever. You know, some of them had very supportive, awesome, you know, parents, which is awesome, great. So I've seen both sides. And just like that really hit me hard, because it made me realize, like, yeah, my friends have to go through that because, you know, they're gay or whatever, and it's just, they want to live that, they don't want to hide anymore. So it was a really good episode, and just hearing this story, I was ultimately pissed at the start because I just hate people like that guy on the flight that just, I hate him. And then just to give you that glimmer of hope of somebody that had their life changed by a superhero show because of inclusion, it's fucking amazing. And I just wanted to share this with you in a video because it's awesome. Now, that wasn't the only discrimination or shitty thing that happened to her. I saw this also on her Twitter feed and just wanted to bring it up because it pissed me off, but I'm actually kind of curious about it. Yesterday was eventful. My new card looks like this, and a cashier wouldn't let me pay for my order because he didn't accept gay money. Are you fucking kidding me? Because a card has a rainbow flag on it, you're not, oh, that kind of shit pisses me off. And you know what? I kind of want to see if any of my card carriers will let me have a rainbow flag, if that is an option, because I'm not gay, but I wouldn't mind getting that damn card to see if somebody would actually say something like that. Because although, like I said, I'm not gay, I have no fucking problem standing up for people that are. And that is all. If I was somebody in that line, like if I was behind her and I heard that, holy shit, I would have stepped in and said something, because that is complete bullshit. You don't accept, it's a fucking flag. If a freaking rainbow shines over fucking Walmart or the freaking White House, do you just not support it? Because it's a fucking rainbow? It's a fucking flag. Like, chill out. And people just, people piss me off sometimes. But you know what? It's people like that one lady that learned from the Supergirl show that give me hope for this world, because I'm just hoping that this hatred, and hatred is taught, alright? You don't wake up and you're like, oh, I'm gonna fucking hate everything. Hatred is taught. It's passed on from your parents or your grandparents or whoever that is just hate-filled. Like, you just get it from somebody else. Like, I don't know, you have a bad childhood or something. Hate is taught. It's not in your genes or anything like that. It's taught. And so I'm just hoping that there's just this, I don't know if it's like older generations that teach this or what. I'm just hoping by the end of my lifetime that we don't have to deal with a lot of this bullshit anymore. But, you know, unfortunately the pattern throughout history is very terrible. But we are making steps to progress. And you guys out there, if you're young, if you're old, if you're my age, doesn't really matter. You gotta be part of that progress if you want to see the world change. So, yeah. But that is it, guys. I just felt like this was, I read that story and I felt like this was something I needed to make a video about. There are times, if you're ever a YouTuber, or maybe you're a writer, a songwriter, maybe you're a filmer, you know, photographer, whatever, that there are those moments that you see something and you're just like, I need to take a photo, or you listen to something, you're like, I gotta make this beat, or, you know, I read this story and I was like, I gotta make a video. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention because it is something I talk about on this channel a lot. And just having an actual story from somebody about the importance of inclusion in shows, it was just, I had to bring it up. So yeah, hopefully you liked this video. If you did, let me know. Go ahead and give a thumbs up if you liked it, you know, for all of your Supergirl fanboy buddies. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for all things nerdy and geeky on this channel. As always, I am your host, JUICEbox. Remember, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself something. Have I had my daily dose of juice? See you guys next time. Bye!